Me, I'm a grime slash hip hop kid. I love grime and hip hop music. That is my top. No. I'm talking about Yahweh, Jehovah, the all-seeing, the triune God. Then I dare you to look into the Bible and ask questions yourself.
Fashionista, fashionista, fashionista. Here I come take a picture.
Ah, man. Okay, what's happening, people? What's happening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? I'm Unique Creation. Welcome to Unique Sessions. Today I want to talk to you about something that's it's definitely key to everything you do. It's key to everything you do, and the word is identity. Identity. There's two words mixed into one in that. I don't know if that's true. It's just something that I noticed. I mean, look at the spelling of identity. The first two letters is ID. And now what's ID short for? Identification. Where if you have to go to somewhere, you have to have an ID. Certain places with security, you have to have an ID to show them because you have to identify yourself. And then the other part of that, once you take away the ID, is entity. Now, what is entity? An entity is something. It's a person. It's a conscience. It's a consciousness. It can be an item, but the deeper sense of an entity is something sentient. Now, if you put identification and entity together, you get identity. So that means you identify with something. You identify with some kind of entity. Now, the question I want to ask you first of all is this: what do you identify yourself with? Is it heritage? Is it race? Is it culture? What do you identify yourself with? Because an entity is a thing with a distinct and independent existence. That's Google. That's Google's definition. A thing with a distinct and independent existence. So when you look at identification and you look at entity and you put them together, you get identity. Yeah, well done. You probably didn't say it anyway, so I'm clapping for nothing. But where I want to go with this is, what do you identify yourself with? Is it a culture? Because there's so many different cultures out there. Is it your race? Me, I'm black. I'm an African. So, there's Latinos, there's all sorts. So, do you identify yourself with your race? Is it your heritage, your history, like British history? There's the House of Parliament, there's the House of Lords, the House of Commons, there's the Queen from a lineage of people who've actually ran this country before things changed a little. So what do you identify yourself with? I mean, if you look at yourself, and when I ask you who are you, or who do you think you are, anyone who's asked that question, immediately some information flashes in their mind. Who are you? Who do you think you are? Who do you identify yourself to be? What do you identify yourself with? Me, I'm a grime slash hip hop kid. I love grime and hip hop music. That is my top. No, nothing beats that genre for me. I mean, there's loads of amazing songs out there, but nothing beats that one for me. So I identify with the way the art is. The culture of the art. We all know that hip-hop is a culture. Hip-hop is a culture. So, and rap music, hip-hop music came out of that culture. So how do you identify yourself? What do you identify yourself with? Your lifestyle. Because it dictates the kind of friends you have, what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy, what you deem acceptable and not acceptable. It actually dictates everything, including how you raise your kids, all sorts. It dictates so much. So how do you identify yourself? The reason I'm bringing this up is because you can identify yourself with the wrong thing. You can identify yourself with the wrong existence. That means you can exist wrongly. We all exist, but we have a hand in how we exist. Are we a blessing to humanity, or are we a curse to humanity? Are we a loving friend or a cruel friend? Are we a productive person? Are we a contributing person to a society, or are we just a leech, so to speak? There's all sorts of terms for this, but how do you identify yourself? Because how you identify yourself dictates how you live your life and how you are, how you see your life to be. I've touched on different aspects of this, and the reason I want to bring this one here is because it's so important to identify with the right thing, to identify with the right source, to identify with the right culture, the right way of being. Because if you don't, you're going to have a lot of problems, mate. Even in a culture, even if you identify yourself with a culture that's wrong, you're still going to get harmed. It's still going to harm you. Now, I'm not saying that life isn't difficult and you won't get harmed one way or another. It's always going to happen. That's life. But it's very, very important to identify yourself with the right source. Now, when I speak source, I believe that God is the right source. And I'm not just talking any definition. I'm talking about Yahweh, Jehovah, the all-seeing, the triune God. And the reason, I don't just say that lightly. Stick with me on this. I don't just say that lightly. I say that because I've asked a lot of questions and I've found answers to them. Not just answers that resonate with me. I'm not the right kind of person that looks for answers that makes me feel good. I want to know things for what they are. I really want to know things for what they are, because if you're just trying to find things that makes you feel good and you're not looking at it for what it is, then you're going to miss the ship. You may be standing on an uneven ground there. When I talk about God, the aspect of God, even if you believe in that at all, the reason I bring this up is because when I look at everything in existence and how I fit into it, from this planet, from the water, grass, the sky, and how it all works, and how I eat something, crap it out, yes, I could say other words, but crap it out, and then it fertilizes food again to grow, and it's like a cycle. Even once I die and my body rots, it's going to be eaten by stuff, bacteria, all sorts, which will go into part of that cycle. So I believe there's a sentient mind behind all this. I believe there's someone that created all this, because I might be wrong, double check this, but I heard that clouds, I wish I actually checked this before I came here, it just came to mind, but I heard that clouds weigh tons. The bigger the cloud, the more it weighs, because think about it, it's actually water in the sky. It's just become steam. But because it's still water, it weighs tons. But I ask you, how can tons of liquid defy gravity and stay in the sky? Think about that for a second. It stays up there, becomes rain, falls down, or becomes snow based on the temperature. Think about that. Think about how there's a cycle to this. Nothing's ever truly wasted. We call ourselves creators, us human beings, but I don't believe human beings create anything. We invent, sure, we create, we put things together that's already from a material that's already in existence. We didn't create something out of absolutely nothing. There's a mind that formed this together from the planet, how far away the earth is from the sun. Think about it. It's in the right condition to nurture life. It's in the right condition to nurture life. Well, if you look at the other planets that's close and far away, they're not. And then you go even further out there, there's all these different stars, there's all these different type of creatures and living beings. I identify with whoever that sentient being is that put all this together. Now, most of the time when I say God, people think, some old guy with a white beard. No, that's not God at all. I don't even know where people get that from. Maybe Hollywood movies, I don't know. But it goes deeper than this. There's a reason behind it. There's a thought behind this. There's a process. There's an order behind this. And that's what I identify myself with. And when you look at identity and ask, what do I identify myself with and why? Have I asked questions of why I identify myself with this? Is it something worth identifying myself with? If the answer is no, then I dare you to look into the Bible and ask questions yourself. Ask real questions, because I do, and I'm still asking questions. I can't just trust a lifestyle like that. I have to ask questions. So you ask questions too, and be open to the answers you get. Make sure you're not looking for questions just to butter you up and make you feel good. Look for answers that you can't question. Even if you open doors to more questions and those questions have been answered and you can't go against this, then maybe there's something to this. But if it's not for you, then I bid you adieu. But I had to bring this up. How do you identify yourself? What's your identity and what do you identify yourself with? Is it the right source or is it something else? It's just a food for thought. Thank you very much, guys. God bless. I'm Unique Creation. Speak to you all soon.
Bright lights, gold floors, pearl gates, no doors, bare heads, one cause. Everybody's looking sharp with no flaws, no dodgy cuts, just God little tall. Fresh new robe and you know what it's for. The amps on high, everyone's on the floor. Everybody here's just having a ball. Hands in the clouds cause we're leaving the air. All the last stressing, we're leaving it here. Your best dress doesn't even come near to the gorgeous gown that they make you prepared. I step